What is a program? What is programming? Types of programming languages. Which one is good for you? And how to master it? On this episode. My name is Michael Adams, and this is my YouTube channel, Let's get into the 1. What is a program? A program is a set of instructions that performs a specific task without mistakes. For example, let's use the calculator for an instance. The calculator has some symbols, which are the plus, the minus, the division, and some numbers. And the programmer, you can be a programmer, I can be a programmer, anyone can be a programmer. And the programmer has written some instructions behind this button that whenever it is struck or whenever it is triggered, it should do something. So when you press on any calculator, you see it performs a task. When you press on any key on the calculator, it performs a task. What is programming? Programming is you making a set of instructions, that is codes, for a computer or a device to perform without any mistakes. Okay, so let me put it in a story form for you to understand it much more better. So you have this friend, and then this friend is a device, that is your computer or your mobile phone or a remote. This one has CPUs, RAMs, memories that come together to perform a specific task. But this friend can't do it on its own unless you, the programmer, tell it to do it before it can perform that task. So you have to write some understanding language for it, or for it to understand, so that it can perform that task for you. And that is zeros and ones. Machines understands only zeros and ones, which is the binaries. Okay, so this is why I mentioned the programming languages. That is, we start with 1, the machine language. That is that is the first one I've mentioned. Then we come to the lower level languages, which is the assembly and then C. With these two, they also perform. They are also similar like the assembly. They are also similar like the machine language, but with that one you can understand what you are coding. They also perform the same tasks, like as in communicating with the CPUs, the RAMs, and then the SSDs, and then the other stuff. So those are the lower level languages. They communicate directly with the devices the inbuilt devices, the embedded devices. So you can use these programming languages for your embedded devices, like the Raspberry Pi, the Jetson, the Arduino, your ICs, and then other stuff. So those are the C language, the assembly, and then the machine learning. So these languages are for embedded systems and then other systems. Yes. Then we come to the higher level language. These are the programs these are the languages. These are the languages that are used for programming YouTube. Yes, YouTube, Google, Facebook, and then the rest. So you can use these languages to program anything you want, like any application. Let me put it that way. Any application you really think will be okay for you to work with. Yeah. Okay, so to let you understand more, even though we program with the high level language and the lower level language, still the machine does not understand these languages. It still understands only zeros and ones. So the languages, you still program your English, or you still program a little bit your understandable languages, but it will still be compiled into zeros and ones for the machine to understand. So no matter what, the machine will still understand zeros and ones, which will pass through a compiler for it to be compiled. You are not going to do that. Okay, so which one is good for you, and then how to master it? Okay, so this is why I say which tasks do you really want to perform? Do you for example have a company which is in your local area, no one knows about it, and you want to make it public. You want to make sure everyone sees your company, know what your company is all about. Then you have to create a website, and then So how do you create a website? You go and Google it. So you Google and then you search, you see that you have to use HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript. So then you learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for your project. So that is how it is. So what you really want to do is, what you have to do is, what do you really want to use the programming language for? So if you want to use to build a mobile app that to share message, to share videos, to share pictures and other stuff, that is where you go into mobile apps. That is where you use the React. That is where you use Swift. That is where you use Swift for Android and Swift for iOS development, and then JavaScript for Android development. But the React is for both, and then Flutter 2 is for both. So whatever you want, you just go for it, and then make sure you're comfortable with what you are understanding, what you are learning, because it will all depend on what you really want to do with the programming language. Because you can't just learn the language and then put it inside your pocket, And then also mastering it is very, very easy, because if you know what you really want to do with your language, then you're en route to mastering everything. Yeah, so that's what I'll say. Because if you know what you really want to do with the language, then you're en route to mastery. Hey, okay, so this is where I end everything. But before I end, let me tell you this. I did Python for my embedded systems and then my back ends. Then I did Flutter for my mobile apps. I'm doing HTML, CSS, then JavaScript for my web apps. So if anything, I have this three I work with. So I have I have a reason why I am working with. In case I have a mobile app, I can build a web app to support my mobile app. In case I have a web app, I can build a mobile app to support my web app. Yeah, I'm saying it's confusing, but yes, so that is how it's going to be. Yes, so I hope this video made you understand or solve the problem of programming is difficult, because programming is never difficult at all. It is all about what do you really want to do with the language. So if once you discover what you want to do with the language, then you are good to go. Yes, so that is what I'll say. Okay, so with this being said, I will say peace. See you.